All right, on the show now is Matt Tinker, who's going to be taking on Trevor Crawford next on November the 5th in a kickboxing bout at Shamrock FC 341. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. And November
Yeah.
5th is right around the corner, my friend. So let's
Yeah.
just start with the hard part. What's the weight at? Is this a big weight cut for you to get to 170?
It's a pretty decent weight cut. It's a 175 actually. I think I started camp about 199. I was 189 this morning, but I've done it before. I felt really good on it. So I do a lot of water cut. So I'm on about 2 gallons a day right now. Cut that back on Sunday, hit the hot box, a sauna suit next week, could chip a little bit off every day and come to weigh-ins on weight and refuel, hydrate, ready to go on Saturday next week.
What's your whole thought process on just, weight cutting in general? Because I know some people are really against it. They think it's awful for you. But I mean, in combat sports in general, it's just kind of par for the course. It's always been a thing, right? Like, what is your overall, I guess, opinion on it?
Well, it's been kind of different over the years. I've competed a lot at in jujitsu tournaments and things like that, where I compete, weigh in the same day. I compete at my walking weight, whatever that might be. I've done TBA in Iowa. I competed around my walking weight. But I've also, when I did an MMA fight, and that was the first time that I cut down to the 170 area, and the fight was going to be scheduled for 170. And I got down to about 174 when they called and said, "Hey, your opponent's not going to make weight." So I was off the hook for the rest of the day. I weighed in at 174. It's a lot of people, I think, that do it wrong, man. Maybe take it a little bit too far, cut a little bit too much weight, or just don't have a really good game plan. I think that could be dangerous, for a lot of people. We hear a lot about kidneys shutting down and things like that. But we got a pretty good regimented process. I started chipping away at it pretty early on in the fight camp, and try to get down to at the very least 15 pounds the week of. But I like to be a little bit lower than that for the most part when I get there. So I'm looking to be about 187, 180, 186 for the week of. And, I do a water cut. So I start drinking about 2 gallons of water a day when the fight camp starts. And then we chip that down the week of to a gallon a day on Sunday, a gallon a day on Monday, then a half a gallon, and so on and so forth for the rest of the week. So far, I haven't had any problems with it. I actually did a weight cut to 174 weight in day of for a kickboxing match and fought 3 rounds and still felt pretty good. So looking for another weight cut like that.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've got it down to a science. Glad to hear that this camp is going well and you're where you'd like to be. This is my first time interviewing you, so I'd like to know a little bit more just, about the guys you have around you. Tell me a little bit about your camp and your main training partners.
Oh yeah. So, first of all, I got my head coach, Eric Clarkson. He owns the River City Warriors Kickboxing Club. We're also a 10th Planet St. Louis. He's a big time game planner. He likes to watch tape. He's been doing martial arts pretty much his whole life. So I've been with him at his gym for about 7 years now. And we just kind of hit it off. I guess we don't always see eye to eye on things, but that's why he's the coach, and kind of gets me out of my head and makes me do the things I don't want to do. We also have Stan Bew, who's been a lifelong martial artist, and he's our spiritual leader. He does a lot of boxing, works on our footwork a lot, likes to get us together, so our striking is pretty technical and just helps us come around like that. The rest of my team, is I got my buddy Craig. He's a pad holder. I've been working with him for a few years now, and the past couple of years I've been grooming him as a pad holder because he's a real dependable guy. I can count on him to be there when he says he's going to be there. Not that the rest of my team isn't, but I just picked him so someone I could kind of mold, and we could mold into just holding pads for me and taking the punishment, as you might say. And the rest of our guys on our team have been really good. They give me some really tough, hard sparring rounds. We got a couple of guys that come in from other gyms from time to time and beat me up a little bit and make me work real hard. So it's been a fantastic camp, and we just been continuing rolling. I've been doing two and 3 a days all week, most of the week, taking a rest day on Sunday, feeling up pretty good, and I'm feeling great, feeling ready to go.
So according to Tapology, you're 1-0 as an amateur kickboxer, 1-0 as an amateur mixed martial artist. This is your pro kickboxing debut.
Yeah.
What are your goals as a combat sports athlete? What are you hoping to accomplish here moving forward?
Well, technically, I'm 6-1 as an amateur kickboxer. I don't think that biology is up to date. But 1-0 in MMA, that's correct. I'm 46 years old. My goal is to run until the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure how much time I got left, but I do a lot of. I'm a personal trainer, so I do a lot of studying on my strength and conditioning, keep myself strong. Also, recovery and things like that. Just making sure that I'm not burning myself. Burning the candle at both ends, so to speak. My goals, I would like to have a pretty decent pro career. I'm thinking, 3, 4, I don't know, 5, 10 fights, whatever happens. I would like to have at least 5 pro fights, though, and then I'm going to lay back and coach for a while.
Okay, very good. Well, at 46, what are some of the I guess the difficulties that you have to endure during camp? Is there certain things that might be a little bit harder for you now versus, maybe 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. I think, I've been doing this a pretty long time. I've been doing this, I've been training solidly and progressively for the past at least 12 years. And, I've kind of like got to the place, the point of like, I'm always in pain. It's muscle sores and things like that, not severe pain, but I've overcome a couple of injuries through the process. I know when to take a break. I think the biggest challenge, is at some point, your body tends to take a little, a slow down path. So that's why this fight camp's been pretty much on positioning, technique, and counters. I'm not going to be able to beat him with speed, most likely. He's a younger guy than me, but that's been the story of my life. I started martial arts at a young age, then took a big detour, got back into it when I was a little bit older. And everybody I've fought since then has been significantly younger than me, so even from my first fight back in like 2012, I was 30 something, fighting like a 28-year-old or something like that, so I haven't fought anybody my age. I don't think, well, I take that back, maybe once or twice. But for the most part, everybody's been younger. The last guy that I fought last January was, I think 30. And he was talking shit backstage about how I was older and stuff like that. And I TKO'd him in the second round. So I'm looking at this fight camp, but for this fight in particular, I'm looking to go all 3 rounds. It's to put on a show and show my skill.
All right. Now, do you have another job outside of training people and whatnot, or are you completely in the gym all day long?
Well, I'm in the gym about 12 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah. I set my life up like that when I became a full-time personal trainer in 2015. Up until that point, I was working for my dad in an upholstery shop that he had back then. My grandpa started after World War II. I was a part-time trainer since 2010, so I've been a personal trainer for about 12 years as well. In 2015, I decided to make the switch to being a full-time personal trainer and, put a lot of work in. And then I was able to find that I was able to set my schedule around my training schedule so I could be on the mats and in the ring, as much as possible. And that's kind of what I set out to do. So here I am.
All right, smart man. Well, let's talk about this fight again. Shamrock FC 341, November the 5th. This is going to be in St. Charles, Missouri. How far away is this from where you are? Is it a long drive or are you pretty close?
It's about a half an hour, 40 minutes or so. So it's not real far away. Just across the river a little bit, up in St. Charles. So I'm in South City, so we're a few miles away, but it's about, highway time, maybe a half an hour, 40 minutes.
Are you expecting to have a lot of support come fight night? Have you sold a lot of tickets?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I've sold quite a few so far. I got a few more that are put down as that I'm holding for people, and I got calls coming in every day. So I'm definitely gonna have a big crowd there.
All right. Well, what do you know about your opponent, Trevon Crawford? He's 1-0 as a pro kickboxer. He had a UD win over Andrew Williams. Do you feel like stylistically this is a good matchup for you?
I feel like it really is. As a matter of fact, Trevon and I, we actually trained together years ago. Before I came in with the River City Warriors, where I'm at now, I was at a gym called the Danger Room with a guy named Mark McLean who was coaching us, and I had been with him for a little while. And Trevon came in and started training there with us. And I said in a previous interview, we pretty much off the bat hit right away, hit it off, and we started banging it out in sparring rounds. We get pretty rough with each other. I think there was a little bit of emotional charge going on from time to time. It was a lot of back and forth, and he was always a 155er. So when I got the call about, hey, Trevon wants to fight you, at first I thought, was he pissed at me because we're still boys, But and then my second thought was, he's a 155er. Well, what weight does he want to fight at? And they said he wanted to fight at 170, and I said, well, how about we do 175? We'll meet somewhere a little bit closer. And they said that's fine. So I got a hold of our old coach, and he was like, no, Trevon, just spirit of competition. His kickboxing has become pretty popular lately. And I think Trevon has been working at it for a little while now, and it's finding the excitement of it, wanting to fight some people that he views and respects, and so all in good competition. He's coming out to kill, I'm coming out to kill, but all love afterwards. And we're gonna set it off on Saturday.
Okay, very cool. Well, having said what you just said about him fighting at 155, leads me to believe that you would most likely have a size and strength advantage. Is that what you feel like is going to tip the scales in your favor to get your hand raised here?
I do believe so. Yeah, I'm going to be about 10 inches taller than him, and I'll probably weigh a good 15 pounds heavier than him once we get inside the cage.
10 inches taller?
Yeah, he's 5'7", I'm 6'5".
Wow, you're that tall. My goodness. Did you play basketball back in the day?
No, I didn't. Everybody asked that, though. So.
Okay. All right. So in a stylistic matchup like that, when you're going against someone that's a lot shorter, I mean, usually from the outside looking in, I feel like the longer, lankier person is going to be able to utilize their reach, right? And then, you look at some guys like a Mike Tyson who used it to his advantage, where he get on the inside and just knock you senseless. Like what's the difficulties from your point of view to fight the smart fight against the shorter guy?
The difficulty would be keeping him out. I think that I'm not sure he remembers how long I actually am. I know we stood next to each other recently, but I do a pretty good job of keeping people at bay. Keeping at the end of my punches and kicks, and I'm thinking he's definitely going to try to get on the inside and stay there. I think my clinch is better than his, so if we do get into that situation, I'm prepared for that. But yeah, if I was to let him stay on the inside, he's a respectable fighter, so I can't let him do that. So we keep him on the outside for sure.
All right, Matt, official prediction. How do you get it done?
I'm planning on just piecing him up for 3 rounds. All 3 rounds. Decision's what I'm shooting for. I want to put my talents on display. I want to keep him at bay. I want to kind of have him taste for a while what I got coming, and just kind of introduce him to my style again. And and just let him feel it. The knockout comes, but I'm coming in for a 3-round fight.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time here today. Definitely look forward to seeing this one. If anyone can't be there in person, how can they watch online?
They can watch it on pay-per-view. There'll be a link on Shamrock FC's Facebook page. And I'm sure someone will be live streaming it as well.
All right. November 5th, Shamrock FC 341. Before we do sign off, Matt, I want to give you the floor. Tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have anyone to thank, any sponsors, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. You can follow me at Matt Tinker on Facebook, Matt the Madman Tinker on Facebook, Tinker Training on Facebook, or Tinker Training on Instagram.